Loud. Well, good evening, everybody. Well, it's evening on my end. Good morning to the North Americans and everybody else. Welcome to another general session on the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. My name's Ivié Barnabas, and yeah, I will be facilitating this session. What was coming up for me, it's kind of like a mix of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and Wallace D. Wattles, Signs of Getting Rich. And for a lot of us, I think we all know now, we all accept the thoughts of things, right? That if you can think it, you can dream it, you can have it. Like your thoughts can materialize and take on a form of what it is you want, right? So it's really important to have that definite mental image of what it is we want, right? So that's a starting point. Because if we don't see it, if we don't know what it looks like, when it shows up, then we don't know, right? That we've hit the goal or we've reached the objective, or we have what it is we wanting to have. So if we don't have that vision, if we don't have it spelt out, if we don't have it outlined, we won't know it when we arrive at it, or we won't know it when it comes to us, right? So that's a starting point. But where I want to dwell on today is really, yes, you have the thought, but there are steps between the thought in your mind and actually getting the end result in a material form, right? So bringing it from the ether, right, into reality, right? There's something you need to do. And one of those big steps is action. Now, for a lot of us, taking that first step usually is where we get lost in the thought bit. And sometimes we can actually think ourselves out of taking action, right? So as we think of where it is we want to be, as we think of what that goal is, you vision yourself as having arrived at that place, right? And you can get pretty detailed about it. So if you're thinking, of a car, you probably know the make, the color, the year it was made. Think about the interior. Do you want leather seats? Do you want cloth seats? What kind of stitching do you want? What kind of sound system do you want? I mean, you can go to town on this, right? Think about the wheels. Do you want a wheel cap? Do you want it to be turbo diesel? Go to town, right? So when you think about this thing you want, be really, really detailed about what you want, because the more information you give to the ether, to the universe, the more likely you are to get exactly what you want. Can you imagine saying, okay, give an example. I want a car. Now, I haven't said what make, what model, what color. I just say I want a car. Okay, what if I get a Mini? It's a car, but is it the car that would have been useful for me? Is it the car that would have worked for me? Is it the car that would have answered the need I have? Is it the car that I pictured myself driving, right? Because when I think of car, I want to be able to take my girlfriends with me. I want to do road trips, right? So there's got to be room in the back, for all the bags and stuff. Everybody has to have enough leg room. I don't want somebody being 6 foot tight saying, oh my God, I haven't got enough leg room. Can you move the seat? No, 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 no. All of that has to be check, 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 right? So when I'm thinking car, I'm really precise about what kind of car. So it's not a 2-door. Hey, I want to take people with me, right? So that's the precision that I'm talking about when it comes to the thought. But in terms of action, we never get, and this is where I think we need to make the distinction. We never get the full flight plan. So we never get go down 100 meters and then take a right turn. And at the right turn, you get at the Starbucks on the corner, make a left, right? And then you come to a junction or an intersection and there's a park ahead of you. Now you're going to cross the road and walk through that park. You don't get those kind of details when it comes to the action bit. The universe or the ether will probably give you, you know what? You need to leave your house today and just take a walk down the road. That's probably all you're going to get. But then we'll sit and we'll think, okay, yeah, it's a lovely day. It's sunny. Okay, so what am I going to wear? Do I want to wear shorts? Or do I want to wear short sleeve top? Maybe a t-shirt. You know what? A ball cap would be good as well. And we go down that rabbit hole, by which time it's noon, it's lunchtime, It's 3 in the afternoon, we still haven't left the house. Meanwhile, Ether gave instruction, leave your house today, walk down the road, right? But we got hung up on what we're gonna look like when we leave the house, that we didn't even decide, okay, what time am I gonna leave? What direction am I gonna go, right? But you see, the universe always sends us inspirations like that, never giving us the full picture. One, to test our resolve. How serious are we? How badly do we want that thing we've been thinking about and focusing on? So you will never get the full details about the journey ahead, never, right? But if you don't take those cues when they come as to take action, leave your house, walk down the road. As you're walking down the road, you might bump into someone, or you might see a long lost friend who you haven't seen in years, and that friend happens to own quite a few car dealerships, right? And then you, just as part of the conversation, you start going, you know what? It's so amazing to bump into you. I've been thinking about buying a car. And then the friend goes, wow, funny you should say that. That's the business I'm in. And then starts rattling off what new specs they're going to get in or what new models are coming in. Can you see how this is taking form? About you started thinking about a car way back when, but universe only said to you, leave your house and walk down the road. And somehow, as you do the initial steps, more things begin to line up to make that vision you've had and you've been carrying in your mind become a reality. But no, we're still at home. Remember that example? We're still thinking shorts, short sleeve top, ball cap, and it's 3 in the afternoon. Now, maybe your friend was walking down that road at 12:30, 1 p.m., 1:15. And if you had left, your paths would have crossed. So now you've missed that. You want to call it coincidence, you want to miss, call it chance meeting, whatever it is. That's fine. Ether will work with you and go, you know what? Maybe didn't quite get the cue. We'll send another message. Now, it probably won't happen the day after you miss this, leave your house and walk down the road. It probably will come when you're doing the most random thing. Maybe you're in the kitchen making a stir fry because you can't be bothered. I mean, you really don't want to spend that much time in the kitchen. And you're like saying, you know what can I rustle up uber quickly so I can like have something and get right back to what I was working on. And while you're tossing the vegetables and thinking, do I want to add more, sesame seeds or, sesame oil? And no. Thought comes and you get this flash. Tomorrow, lunchtime, don't go to the Starbucks you usually go to whatever, other place, right? Subway, right? And you're thinking, why am I thinking about lunchtime tomorrow? I'm still in today. I'm making supper today. But this is a universe giving you yet another cue that, okay, you know what? Tomorrow lunchtime, don't go to Starbucks, go to Subway instead. And then while you're tossing the vegetables and thinking, is it time to put a diced chicken in yet? And or should I put the noodles in first? You're in your mind saying, okay, which Subway? And you're saying, there's one right by the office. Maybe not that one. There's another one too far down, 500 meters down the road, and you go down yet another rabbit hole, right? Meanwhile, if you had just taken note to self, Subway tomorrow, not Starbucks, right? And when you wake up, you go to the office, blah, blah, you kind of like, in the moment, okay, I'm just gonna walk. And the first Subway you come across, you go, you know what? That's the one we're gonna go to. But no, while we're tossing the vegetables, deciding chicken, noodles, how are we gonna do this? In our minds, we're thinking, right? We end up overthinking the instruction the universe has given us as to Subway tomorrow. We get worked up into such a state that by the time we've had our stir fry and we've gone back to project, we've forgotten the message we received from Mother Nature, from universe, from the ether. So tomorrow comes, John's laughing. Tomorrow comes, you go to work, you don't even remember that you're not meant to go to Starbucks, you're meant to go to Subway. And what do? Come lunchtime, you go to Starbucks. And guess what? The ether kind of like thinks, this person ain't really serious. Do they really want that car or not? Second try, they're still not getting the message, right? And you're there thinking, oh my God, like, okay, Starbucks, like, wasn't I supposed to be going somewhere else today? But because you thought yourself out of it, you can't even remember what the conversation was while you were tossing your vegetables and deciding noodles, diced chicken, right? And so you knew you were probably meant to be somewhere else, but your mind is all scrambled and you just can't remember the instruction. Yet again, the ether is so desperate to partner with you. They will send another random message. And this time it'll be while you are probably in a board meeting or whatever, doing doodles on your notepad. And suddenly you doodle something that looks, I recognize that. I wonder what that is. And then you suddenly realize you've drawn a logo for, that's a Honda logo. Why would I be drawing a logo for a Honda? And then you kind of like get this bright spark that why don't you go to the Honda dealership and test drive blah de blah de blah. Fill in the blanks. Whatever your car is, whatever that, we started with that goal. You've been picturing this car. You want lots of leg room. You want to take your peeps with you. You want to do road trips. You want lots of back room. You want space for the bags, blah, blah, blah. And then you get this. If you just write down, okay, fine, I need to find a Honda dealership, that's fine. And in the moment, you remember what it is you've been thinking about. So your thought comes back and you go, yeah, I have been thinking about a car. And from what I know about Hondas, I think they're Japanese cars. They're not bad, fuel efficient, could work. Now you're in cooperative mode, right? Now this was just another random instruction detail, right? And you get this and you've written it down, but you can see that this time your mindset is more receptive. You've actually connected this logo you scribbled down to the thought you've been carrying with you from however long it's been, right? And then you're thinking, okay, car dealership, okay, that's fine. Now the ether kind of like thinks, we've got her attention. They will send you more clues, right? But if every time the ether sends you clues and you either disregard, neglect, they don't register, whatever it is, they're going to think, you know what? This person is still in la la land. They're still dreaming. They're still in fantasy. They don't really want it bad enough. They will go and find, the ether will go and find somebody else who wants their thought to become reality ASAP, somebody they can work with. The thing is, the energy, the universe desperately wants to work with us because that thinking, we're saying, okay, what's that car going to do? You're not thinking that car is just for you. You're thinking of the good times that are going to happen in that car, through that car, with that car. You're already thinking of road trips with the girls, with the family. You're thinking bags. You're thinking people's comfort. You're thinking outside of yourself. You're thinking of how you're going to make a positive impact with this thing you've been envisioning. The universe loves things like that. And this is just going to make you show up as more of what you already are. So I know I like entertaining. I know I'm generous. I know I like giving. This is going to help me do more of that, right? I'm not going to be, someone's going to be in my car, but you know what? I'm going to make sure it's such a bad experience. They never ask me for a ride again. Nah. The universe will not partner with you on something like that, right? Because this is all about making people feel more, better, bigger when they leave you than when they met you. So the fact that you're thinking of what this car is going to do for the people in your life or the people you will meet, the universe will partner with you and give you clues every single time. But until we actually take the action, because we don't have the full details, we don't ever get the full flight plan. You never get the full journey in outline. Sometimes you don't even know if you're going to go bus, train, aircraft, whatever. Sometimes you don't know that. You just know at some point I'm going to be in Paris. I could take the train. It's just as efficient. But right now, all I know, I'm going to Paris, right? More than that, I don't know. But if I receive that I'm going to Paris as a yes, right? I receive this. I'm in agreement with this because I believe it's a step taking me towards my goal. So, I mean, I use the Paris example because for some of us, it might be meeting maybe a designer. If clothing is a line we're doing on e-commerce, you might be exposed to Paris Fashion Week and you might meet an up and coming designer who has something that you can take and become a distributor in the UK for or in the US for. This is how the universe works with eventual details, right? But when it starts, it doesn't look like anything that could possibly get us to where we want to go. But when those flash thoughts of take this action come, how receptive we are to those initial suggestions is actually a precursor for how much more information we're likely to get on what the next steps will be. So it's all well and good for us to say, you know, we're thought conscious, I can think it, and I know exactly what I want, and we've written it down, and we've got a vision board. But if we don't move from where we are, when those flash thoughts come into our minds, it's still going to be thought at best on paper. It will never materialize to the real form in reality. It will still be out there in the ether. You can't pull it down, right? So it's, and I say this with, oh my God, I'm pleading, please don't stop thinking, don't stop dreaming, don't stop writing down, don't stop being super specific, but also watch out for those flash moments when you get what you think might be a random instruction. If you're likely to forget, find a way of writing it down, however incredulous it sounds, however obscure you think it is. The universe has a sense of humor. Write it down, accept it. You know what? Sometimes it may just be a test of your resolve. The ether just wants to know, have we got this person's attention? Will they be open to receiving messages? So sometimes you can just, so I'm going to go back to the first example. Walk out your house, walk down the road. You may not bump into that friend that has a chain of car dealerships, but at least you know what? That flash thought, you acted on it. The ether makes a note and says, wow, I think this is someone we can work with. Sometimes it's just a test. How badly do you want it? Are you prepared to do whatever it takes? Legal, of course. Well, JLSM, people of integrity, we're not doing any shady stuff, right? But how badly do we want it so that when we get those flashes, we act on them, even though we don't know how it's going to unfold. We don't know the next step. We don't have the full picture. We are willing, based on the faith that we have and the determination that we have, that we are worthy of what we dreamed of. We decide to say, you know what? I'm going to act on this. So action is important. Because if that thought is still in our minds or on our vision board, and we don't take any actions to make it, reality or cooperate with ether universe, how are we going to put it down into our reality? This isn't magic, right? That car is not going to suddenly fall out of the sky and then you look out your window and then the car is downstairs or outside and there's a note on the windscreen. This is your car, Ivié. That would be so spooky. I wouldn't want to go into that car if that happened, because I'd be like, say what? Nah, it just doesn't happen. I don't have a genie in a bottle. I don't have a fairy godmother. But you know what? The ether is pretty close and does a better job if I just partner, right? So once again, it all starts with a thought, very important, but we need to be super precise, because the more specifics we have about that thought, the easier it is for the ether to actually manifest what it is that we want. And that means we spent a lot of time thinking about the details of what it is we want. We've spent time, we've invested energy thinking about what we want. We've envisioned ourselves in that reality of what we want. We kind of like know who we're taking with us. We know how we're going to celebrate when we arrive. We know how we're going to feel when we arrive. That's all important. But until we take a step, when we get those flashes, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill went on about this. He said, you will get it at the most random moments. But when you get it, act on it. Don't let the butterflies in your tummy get the better of you. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't think, how can this be? Don't question it. Act on it. Faith without works is dead, right? So if we say we believe, we're going to have what we've thought about, what we've envisioned, what's on our vision board, we got to act on it. That's how the universe knows how badly we want it. That's what we do as proof that this is really what I want to do. This is what I want to have. This is who I want to be. And until we have that, it's still a big question mark. It's just a thought on paper or on a board or in your head. So that's what was coming up for me. And this was just, a culmination of Think and Grow Rich, Adrian's talk last week, because I was thinking, oh my God, we're the Tuesday tag team, general session. And I was thinking, yeah, thoughts are good, but action is also important. And then I was thinking, Signs of Getting Rich. He talks about that certain way, that faith, purpose, and then we've got to do. And I thought to myself, we can't downplay action. We really have a part to play in this. Yes, we think about it, but until we get off, proverbial, right? And actually start doing something to get to where we want to go, we can't expect to see results. This isn't magic. This is practical. This is stuff we need to do to get the ether, the universe to partner with us and make our thoughts and our dreams an actual reality. So that's what was coming up for me. And, at this point, I don't know if anybody, has anything to say or if this resonates with anybody. But that's what was coming up for me. Ooh, Bill, you got your hand up. Yay. Let's hear from Bill.
Hi,
hello,
sister.
Bro. Hiya.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I felt like getting up and jumping for joy through that sermon. It was fantastic.
You're welcome.
I could just, and I mean this is the nicest way, I could just visualize this African preacher shouting at me and telling me to get my ass in gear and get things going. And I thought, yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. And that was lovely. I do like that accent anyway. Listen, yes, brilliant. We have to listen to a lot of things, and we very rarely do listen to a lot of things. We tend to gloss over what information's coming in from the ether, as you were saying. I'm a big believer in tuning into things. Always have been. I always used to think about God having a great sense of humor, because sure as shooting, if I criticize somebody for their driving or something, all of a sudden I'd do a mistake. And I would just look up and go, oh, okay, very funny. Point proven, that I hear you, brother. That's the end of that. Move on. But what you've said there today is correct. We don't need to get down into the nitty gritty, dirty details of how things are going to come along. Just move. I have always been a very spontaneous person. If I decide that I want to go on holidays tomorrow or within the next hour, I just go, let's go, because it'll be good, because I just know it's going to be good. And that happens for everything. I have not earned vast amounts of money, but any money I've earned throughout my life, I've spent it on good times with people. I love being, like you, Ivié, I love being generous. I love that fact that you can spend money and leave myself with very little, but see everybody else having that wonderful time and thinking, hey, that was nice, wasn't it? That'll give you something to remember. And I mean, I've done that with the kids when they've all grown up. I got a text recently from my stepson. He's now 40. But he texted saying that he had been at a hotel for a business meeting. And it was a hotel we had taken them to when they were kids. And it was the first time they'd had their own room. And of course, they figured out that they could ring our room and et cetera, et cetera. And they rang and said to me, we're hungry. What do we do? I says, go and sort it out. Figure it out. have a look around the room and see what you can do. And off they went. And of course, 2 hours later, when we come out to go for our evening dinner, we went past their room and there was a stack of plates and pizza boxes and you name it. But he had sent this text after being at that hotel for the meeting, and all he said on it was the name of the hotel, and he just wrote happy memories. And that's exactly what life's about. It's enjoying it and getting that. I'm sorry. I hope the universe isn't being too harsh on me if I ask for an Aston Martin. There's only room for two, but you know, that second person will have the drive of their life. That's all I can guarantee them. And on that driving theme, as you all know exactly what I have done previously, I'm a pretty skilled operator in many fields, and driving is one of them. We used to have a saying, you know, we all know when we pull up behind a car at a roundabout. I don't know if you've got a roundabouts in the States, John, or not, but certainly in the UK, people, you pull up behind them in the roundabout and they sit and they wait and they wait. And I always sort of think, are you waiting for a written invitation to go onto this roundabout or what? But the answer for all of that is, he who hesitates is, I'll not use the word because I don't want John to have to put a warning on the YouTube video. But he who hesitates is, okay, I'm sure we're all adult. We all know what happens. And that is exactly what it is about this whole game of believing in yourself, believing in the universe, believing that things will come true. You don't have to do a lot, but you do have to get off your ass to do it. You do have to take that action. And I have listened to Mr. Lavenia for a year now, and it's fantastic. And I have on my little whiteboard up here, top of the line, get it done. That's all. And it works. And I can guarantee any of you guys in here who are still doubting, please don't doubt, because there are some fantastic people in here and they are helping me immensely. And I know that I'm going to have that Aston Martin, have that bottle of Bollinger sitting beside it, and go for it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Ivié. That was brilliant.
Yay. Well, Bill, go for it. Think about that Aston Martin. Why not? Why you should. You deserve to be one of the 2 people to get it. So we're with you on that. Yeah, please. You know, I find that in driving, the drivers who hesitate are usually the ones that cause accidents more often than not. It's that make a decision, go already. That should I, shouldn't I? Then you get at the back of you. And I'm thinking,
Ivié, just on a quick sideline on what you're saying there about if you don't take that action or you decide not to go to that subway or do something different. Just on that driving theme, everybody, if you are out driving and you feel good and generous on the day and you let somebody out in front of you, sure as shooting, that person you've let out will mess up your day.
well, Bill, what I'm going to say in response to that is if we expect that to happen, then that's what's going to happen. But, you know, literally, I mean, I drive, and it's the drivers that hesitate that tend to cause, you know, accidents. So that's what I was going to say. So if you have one of those not quite sure type of drivers in front of you, as soon as you can, please overtake them and get away from them and just carry on with your journey, because that person clearly either don't know where they're going or, you know, don't want to get there today. Whatever it is, my day is planned and I'm a woman on a mission, intent, you know, so just leave them in dust, man, and just keep going. That's what I say, right? Don't let anyone, you know, be a stumbling block as to where you want to go. Thank you so much, Bill. That was amazing. Thank you. Evelyn Smith, you're next.
Oh, wonderful. Incredible talk, Ivié. Thank you. And Bill, I'm sure I'm not the only one that I laugh out loud when I hear you most of the times that you talk. You have my admiration. You're wonderful. I wanted to share the events of the last 24 hours, very on point with what you're talking about, Ivié. I've been working Science of Getting Rich, meditating on it in my evening walks. I take long walks and just playing the chapters, meditating on it. And evening, before I go to sleep and when I wake up. And I have a product right now that I was going to list. Well, I'm in the process of listing on Amazon as a generic product with my thought being that, well, we'll see how viable this product is first before I invest any more energy in branding and logo and all that. Well, it's been very positive. How do I say, it's not really, that's not quite, it feels very right with this supplier. In the weeks that we've been working together, he's gone out of his way to make me feel that impression of increase. Almost every time I interact with him, he's given me something a little better than what I expected. He'll say it's ready in 21 days and he's got it ready in 14 days, right? His timing has just been fast. He's given me, I asked him for an extra small quantity and he was more than glad to do that. I started explaining to him the shipping requirements of Amazon. He said, yeah, I think I know all that. I mean, I think we've got that under control. I mean, it's just been rolling out beautifully with him. And when it came down to the design, I asked him to change some colors and he had to make some adjustments on his equipment to do that. And he was very glad to do it. And then he gave me some real positive encouragement. He said, this is going to sell really well. Just watch. He likes the product. He can see it. He can see the value of it better than I can because he's in the business. Well, this is interesting. Yesterday, he emailed me and said, your product's ready. It's like a week early. But there's one thing. He said, the customs at the border is requiring that we have a branded tag attached to the product. And we can put our branded tag on the product, the one that we always put, or if you'd like to send me your brand and logo, we can put yours on. And at first, Ivié, it's like you're talking about recognizing what you're wishing for and what you're focusing on, recognizing it when it's walking towards you. At first I thought, oh, this is a minor monkey wrench. How am I going to get around this? Of course I was going to put a brand to this product if it works out, but I'm not ready now and I don't want to slow down. So, but after about 20 minutes, I realized, no, this is my supplier handing me a private label opportunity. And in the back of my mind, I don't really believe that customs on the border is actually telling him that they have to have a brand on the tag, but he wants my brand on the tag. So this has just been amazing. And then I was like, well, how do I do this? The brand and the logo. And I just sat down and found one online and photoshopped it, spent many hours with it, researched the brand, researched the logo and put it together. And it's beautiful. Got some friends' inputs, which one do you like? Which one catches your eye? And I think it's all just something right from my higher power, just handed to me. So I wanted to share this with you. Amazing talk, very timely. I can't, I'm stunned, actually. I'm stunned when I think about what's gone on in the past 24 hours. It's just been wonderful, and I think I need to celebrate. Thank you for listening.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Evelyn. Congratulations. It's amazing when we are in the right frame of mind, how everything lines up and how the messages come just in time. I mean, I want to believe that it's from the workshop and all the books we're reading and this platform that's put you in that headspace where every time the supplier has made suggestions, they've either resonated with you or you've been able to push back politely, gently and say, you know what, can you make this change? Can you make that, that change? So guys, this works. This is it in practice. It works. I mean, this is Evelyn talking about stuff that has changed in the last 24 hours. So thank you so much for sharing that example with us. I mean,
I just want to add that it's really been me, like everything I asked for him, he's not only met me, he's given me a little more. And this private label I thought I was looking towards like a negotiation with him, yet that's not what occurred. That's not how it went down at all. He handed it to me. He opened the door and he said twice, this product is going to sell very well. He even said, I can give you a good deal on 1,000 labels, even though my order is only 100. He said, I can give you a good deal on 1,000 labels. It's going to look just like this. And 1,000 is the right number because I know that this is going to sell really well.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know what? I mean, I'm thinking of you speak, and I'm saying to myself, if you remember, can't remember what chapter it was in Science of Getting Rich, he said, not only will the universe begin to assemble the different parts of what it is you want, but the universe will also send you the partners you need to fulfill that vision, right? And this supply is a key part of the whole process for you, right? So this is the universe partnering with you, Evelyn Smith, to make sure that that thought you've carried around, that objective you want, that dream you have, whatever is on your vision board, in this respect, they've lined up every resource that you're likely to need to get it off the ground. And I want to believe that the words he's speaking is to continue to build your faith that this product is going to sell very well. So receive that with gratitude and actually start being really grateful for the sales you're going to have of this product. Because I mean, this is a success story. I mean, I choose to take that and believe that and be grateful for that, right?
An amazing opportunity. Oh, I wanted to add one more thing.
Yeah.
I've tried vision boards. It's like, oh, this is somebody else's photography, their image. No, nah. I've put them together. I don't put them up. I ignore them. But with this one, I was doing sort of a live vision board without even realizing it. This is an item that you could put on a bed. Okay. And he sent me a couple of different samples. I asked for one sample. He sent me two. And I put that sample on the one that I liked, the one that's such high premium quality. I love it. I put it on my bed. It's a blanket. I put it on my bed and I sleep with it every night. So I see it all the time. I touch it, I smell it. And I guess that's been my vision board. It's been way better than a vision board because it's gotten into my senses. So I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it, I'm smelling it every day. You know, it has a certain kind of odor because of it's not a bad odor, but because of the material that's made of. So, you know, you can better believe, Ivié, and everybody who's listening, when I get to Mexico and I'm going to go out of my way to meet Alejandro, and we're going to have a buen tequila, a good shot of tequila to seal our relationship. It's going to be good.
Please take pictures. We will celebrate with you. That is amazing. But you see, this is the stuff of what visions and thoughts are made of, right? I mean, you got the most precise thing you could get. You got it a sample in reality. For most of us, vision board is the closest we get to until we actually get further along the process, right? But this is what Science of Getting Rich also said, that the more time we spend invested, right, in picturing the thought, in you know, birthing the thought, if you want to put it that way, the more determined we are. It's almost like you're sending vibes to the ether and saying, and reinforcing that initial decision that this is what you want, right? So you've done it. I mean, you've slept with it, you've hugged it, you've touched it. There's no stronger message than that to the ether to say, this is what you wanted. So I'm not surprised that things have progressed as they have for you. So congratulations again, Evelyn Smith. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And John, oh my God, the man,
I get to speak.
Leader. He's up.
I am just, I didn't expect to not only get you know, all of the concepts that you were intending to share, but also a cooking lesson at the same time. I mean, look, guys, when you're doing your stir fry, when you cut the pepper, okay, not the green pepper, the red pepper, right? That's when you get the juices from the universe. I was cracking up over that. But you know what that says to me? You know what that says to me, Ivié, is that you're so with it. You're so competent, right? You're so in action with this stuff and perceiving it that you could take random like details that don't mean anything and make it real for people. And look, that's what I've attempted to do for the last several decades, right? Is like that we could actually use this stuff and see it showing up in our lives. And you're doing it, Ivié. I have no question in my mind. And that's why you're a facilitator here as well, right? I mean, thank you. Thank you for your message. Then we got to hear from Bill and about roundabouts. And immediately I went to National Lampoon's European Vacation, where Chevy Chase is driving around and round and round. You know, look, kids, Big Ben Parliament's like all friggin' day he could never get off at this roundabout. And so I guess the and I don't know what your title is for this talk today, Ivié. Send me a title, but the idea of decisiveness, which keeps coming up for us, right? This is not a new thing, although I need to hear it again and again, because even as recently as the last 24 hours, I found myself in indecision about something. And I was like, you know what? I just got to get off of it. Imperfect and done beats perfect and not done. Right. So what can I get done today? What can I put, a check mark on that box, tick the box, or however you like to say it, and know that I'm moving forward. I think that's the main thing, is that, Ivié, you seem to know that you're moving forward. So you could do your stir fry and get a hunch and show up at the other place and meet the guy with the thing or whatever. And things tend to work out. So often in my life, I've had to have all the plans in advance. I need to know everything that's going to happen here. Right. I need to have micromanaging type control. I mean, I like having control because I like being effective, right? Cause, effect, right? So I like being cause in my life, but do I have to have all the answers? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. No. And I never had to. So that keeps it light for me when I'm able to remember that. You just reminded me of that. So thank you. I'm going to go make some stir fry now.
You're welcome, John. But I mean, it's the exposure.
What kind of should it be, a wok, or is it like a pan? Like what kind of pan? What do you use?
I always do my stir fries in woks. Always
in a wok. Okay, very good.
Always. But I mean, it's the exposure to the group, and also the way because when you speak about these concepts and when you talk about the various books that we've done, book studies on, you always break it down and you try to make it as relatable as possible so we can go away and use this in our lives, right? And so when I we read these books, but I go away and I think about it and I go, how do I implement it for me in a way that makes sense for me? So when I know that I've understood something and what is required, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it and I've broken it down, that's why I can talk about it the way I have. But it's only because you started us, on this path. You made it real and accessible and something that we could do, that you didn't have to get a PhD to understand and implement, right? And I mean, that's what he said in Think and Grow Rich, that we will get ideas at the most random moments. So why can't I get an idea while I'm in the kitchen? I mean, I'm doing life, right?
And it's seemingly unrelated, right? And it is unrelated. Yeah. And where I get a lot of my ideas, I've admitted many times, in the gym. That's it. Yeah. Right? It's objective action. It's not significance and thinking and evaluation and all the, subjectivity of it all. It's objective, right? That frees up a space. That's meditation. That's what that is. Me lifting weights equals meditation. One form of it anyway. You doing stir fry equals meditation.
Yep.
Right.
For sure.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, John. Yeah, I mean, and I think for most people on the platform, we need to reinforcement. The repetition is reinforcement, which is great. But I think when it comes from different voices and different perspectives, breaking it down in practical ways to actually implement it in our lives, it just cements, these new concepts for us. So we can go away saying, oh my God, I didn't think I could apply that in my life. It just makes it real. And it takes away that whole, oh, can I do this? Or maybe they're special, they got it. And, I'm just, I don't quite understand what they're going on about. So that was, part of today was, I just wanted to use everyday examples that anybody could relate to. I didn't want it to be anything, like Wallace D. Wattle said, he said, this is not some, cultish, scientific, don't get lost in all of them theories and whatever. No. This book is pragmatic. I'm not going to take you down some, airy fairy concepts. No. And I liked that. That's where he got my attention, because I was like, if he can break it down in everyday language, he's got me. I would read on, right? And so it's really important that whatever it is we find that are concepts that are working, that we can make it so accessible, because it's all about the more people we can take along with us who will understand this and make the changes in their lives and therefore benefit. I mean, that's what it's about for me. So thank you so much, John, for speaking plainly always. Nicola, you are next.
Hello. Have tooth as well. Oh, I love this subject, Ivié. I could just sit and listen to you talk all day long. This is one of my passions, so I'll try not to babble on for too long. But I think the one thing that always springs to mind for me, and I kind of learned, I mean, obviously we're all still learning every day, but kind of stumbled across this one about a year or so ago, is we've probably all heard the phrase ask, believe, receive, law of attraction type stuff. So we do a lot of asking, we do a lot of vision boarding, but what I've noticed is if you don't truly believe what you're asking for, the likelihood of you receiving it is going to be a lot less. Because if you don't believe, if you've set some big hairy goals and they're so far away, you don't truly believe you can ever achieve it, that's the story you're going to play to yourself in your subconscious mind. So that's what you're going to hear all day. And you're not then trusting what you've asked for. So you're questioning it instead. So every day you're questioning, you're looking for evidence, you're not finding it, but you're finding evidence that you haven't got it. So just that gap widens. The difference when you can actually start believing, and I find a lot of visualization helps me do that. So I think Evelyn's message, her story earlier, really hit home. The fact that her way of feeling that was to actually have that blanket on you. And there's no better way of believing and feeling than having it there. So if you can get that feeling inside that it's already yours, then the phrase I like to use is that's where the magic starts to happen. Because that's where you get out of your own way and you stop you stop thinking you've got to over plan it to the nth degree. You stop looking for evidence that it's not working. You completely surrender to it. I'm sure some of us have probably read The Surrender Experiment. That's an extreme example, but you completely surrender to it. You free your mind of all of that kind of noise, and that's when you allow it to come to you. So that's where, like you say, you're at the gym or you're cooking tea, you're not questioning it at that point. So you've opened yourself up to the universe to start to bring more of that of you to you. And then the more you do that, the more you start to see signs that it's working for you. And then the faster it then starts to happen. So that's when, I mean, there's different phrases, but that's what I like to call I'm connected to the universe at that point, or I'm in the flow, or I'm trusting, versus disconnected and not in the flow and not trusting of the outcome. And once you can start to sense when you're in those two different states, it's quite, I'm saying that like I've mastered it. Clearly I haven't, still a long way to go, but it's quite easy to flick yourself between the two states. So once you can kind of be aware of whatever you want to call it, you can then do things to get yourself in that state. And then it starts flowing to you again. And it's just such a nicer place to operate from when you're in the flow, because you're just far more creative, you're more open, you trust your intuition a lot more, and things just start happening much faster. And I think, like Evelyn said, not always in the way that you intended or you thought, but if you're open to it, you're more likely to accept it and take that guidance. If you're not, you would have let that bypass you. So it just fascinates me, the two different states you can be in, and when you're operating in the two states, how very different your life can feel. So yes, I could talk about this subject all day. I love it.
Wow.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Nicola. I mean, you know, I started off by saying that we start off with a thought, but then there are quite a few steps between the thought becoming reality. And one of those is faith, our level of belief. So it's one thing to think it, but do you really believe that, one, you're worthy of it, that two, it's gonna happen, right? So just like action is a critical, okay, fine. So now you say you believe it. Now you got to take steps, right? You got to act that faith out, right? And let the ether. So that belief part is also, I mean, and that's probably a subject that we can explore in another session. I mean, facilitators, you know, that's something we can talk about for future sessions, because that is so important. I think of, say you want to build a wall, right? Or you want to build a house. You got to start with walls and stuff, right? So you start, you know, putting one brick on top of the other and whatever. For me, faith is you carry on putting one brick and then the layer of cement, you know, and then the next brick. But the unbelief is, rather than putting the next brick on, you're taking the last brick you laid and pulling it out. Or you're taking one from the very bottom, right? And yanking it out. Very soon, that entire wall is going to collapse. So where you should have been progressing, building the house, suddenly you just got a whole bunch of rubble around you, right? Or somebody says, okay, I want to lose weight. And we know, right, we got to watch what we eat and we got to work out, got to do some kind of physical activity. Now, the easiest way, personal trainers say, is increase your physical activity, but decrease your calorie intake, right? So try and cut it down, maybe 10%, 20%, whatever it is, your body can, you know, based on whatever it is, the measurements and research and whatever, right? But if you say you're going to go for a walk, a half-hour walk, and then you're going to come back and have a whole pizza and a tub of ice cream, hello, why did you bother going for the walk? Because whatever you burnt off going for the walk, you just come back and put it on times however many between the pizza and the ice cream, defeats the purpose, right? So once again, it's that whole, do you really believe in what you're doing? Because the belief will show up in your actions, or don't you? So if you say you want to lose weight and you are doing the daily walks or the daily physical activity, whatever it is, but then you come back and you sit down with a whole bag of cookies, donuts, whatever it is, it's like, just undo all the good you've just done from that walk or run or cycle or whatever already. It's the same concept, right? So it's so key that, you know, it's the thought, you got to believe it, think it's, I mean, already see yourself as having possessed it. And this was in the Think and Grow Rich. He talked about how does it make you feel? Because when he says, you know, to have that auto-suggestion, he says, don't say you want money. Think about the exact sum of money. Put a date by when you want to get this money. And then start talking about the services you will render to acquire this money. It's so, you know, precise that everything builds on the other. But if you don't believe that you can actually get it, why even bother? I mean, the universe, the certain way is that certain way, no doubt, where you are so sure, you're so convinced, you're so sold out to the cause that you will get what you've asked for. There is no room for doubt. That is the certain way, right? So if you're going to be umming and ahhing and, oh my God, maybe, maybe not, or whatever we say, you know, negates what we have on our vision board or what we've done auto-suggestion, you know, the night before when we woke up, we're undoing everything. The universe doesn't know, are you coming, are you going, are you yinning, are you yanging? Like, make up your mind already. What do you want us to do? Do you want it? Don't you want it? It's confused, right? So it's kind of like sending mixed messages out there. Ether is just sitting down and saying, you know what, when you decide, I'll know exactly how to partner with you. But until you decide, this is all mumbo jumbo. I can't do anything with this. Because just when I get up to say, okay, she's ready, I'm going to partner with her, you go and yank it all out again. So I take a backseat, I sit down. There's only so much yo-yoing Ether will do until they go, you know what, this person ain't serious. When they got their act together, we'll see ya. They'll go attend to somebody else. That's how I picture it in my mind. That the Ether is just, you know what, I want to help everybody who's serious. But if you're going to be pulling me this way, that way, it's just not going to work, right? So yeah, thank you so much for that perspective. I mean, that is another key aspect of the journey.
One, just very quickly, but the one, the way I tend to try and look at it is for every day I don't believe, that's one day longer it's going to take to get there.
Can I tell you what, Nicola? It's usually more than one day. So the one day we don't believe ends up costing us a lot more than the one day. It's exponential. It's That's the way I see it. I kind of like go, that one day of not believing, what does it cost me in time? Because that's how the ether works. It's never one for one. The cost is always higher. The price we have to pay is always higher when we don't get it right the first time. It's always higher. It's never one for one. The exchange rate is never, we always end up losing out a lot more than we bargained for when we don't believe. That's my take on it anyway. I could be wrong, but I've seen this play out so many times that, yeah, and I'm just, yeah, I'm done with, no more loss. It's gains now. It's gains now. So thank you so much, Nicola, for sharing. We're 4 minutes from the top of the hour and I see 2 hands, but before I call either of the two, I had Sonia's hand go up and down and up and down. I don't know if she's left or if she's here. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it.
She had to leave.
Can anybody see him? Oh, she left. Okay,
Left.
all right. Because I remember her hand went up and then it went down again. Madam Chop Chop, you're up.
Okay, I'm unmuted. My goodness, what a talk. You got me fired up. I was not gonna say anything, but my goodness, are you on spot today? Something came to my mind, and that was what you think about comes about. No matter what it is, negative or positive, whatever you're thinking about is what is gonna come. So I've noticed also that if you have emotion attached to what you're thinking about, which comes to what you were saying, right? All the details of the things that you're looking forward to having, is going to happen. It's going to come to you. The other thing that came to my mind is to be open to opportunities. They're all around you. And sometimes we are so concerned about all the negative stuff, all the noise around us, that we don't see it. Sometimes they're coming, knocking on your door. They are right there. Things happen. They walk right in front of you in either a phone call, a post on Facebook, an email, somebody called you, and we're not paying attention. We are letting opportunities, slip by. We're overanalyzing things and we're not taking action. And I can't help but think of one thing that always stuck to my mind. And I've heard it before, okay? But it's about timing, right? When the time is right, that is going to stick with you. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And this is what John said, and he said it earlier: imperfect and done is better than perfect and not done. Take action. Learn how to recognize all the signs, things that you're supposed to be doing and you're ignoring it. For whatever reason, maybe you're uncomfortable, it's out of your comfort zone, but yet it may be the answer to what you have been praying. I think there is a meme somewhere that somebody's praying and praying and praying over something to happen, and then God says, well, you've been praying, I've been giving it to you, but you don't do anything about it. What else do I need to do? Like you said, it could be the universe saying, you know what, just gonna sit back and wait until you're ready for it, because you're giving me, the mixed signals. And the other thing that came to me is 2 more things. Receive. Be open to receive that. You're asking, you're praying for the signal. It's been given to you, but you're not open to receive it. And the final is that we are putting a ceiling. We're blocking ourselves not to receive it. And stop with that. Be open. I can only give you an example of even my own journey. I couldn't believe it when I sold $30 a day consecutively. It was very little, it was nothing. And then when I sold my first 1,000, I couldn't believe it, oh my God. And then it jumped to 3,000 and I was like, holy smokes, this is more than I ever thought. But you know what comes to mind is that I was the one limiting myself on how much I should sell, because I was putting the ceiling. So ego starts saying money is attracted to me. Why am I putting a limit, right? So even though I knew this, I said, you know what? My next goal is 5,000 a month. And I kept on doing that. And I kept on doing that. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm open to whatever comes. We're at the top of the hour. I am done talking. I'm just going to let the next person come in and just say, please open yourself, open your mind to receive and receive all those signals that you're giving to the universe. Just welcome them, because it's going to change your life. It really does.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Madam Chop Chop. I agree with all of that. We've got to be open. The universe will partner with us, will send signals. If it's God, universe, ether, whatever you want to call that. But I mean, I believe in that. If I pray, I'm expecting to get an answer, right? So it doesn't take me by surprise when the answer comes, because then what was the point?
Exactly.
If I was praying, not expecting to get a response, what was the point, right? So yeah, thank you so much for that. That was really great.
You're welcome.
Cyril, I know we're a minute past top of the hour, but I wanted to give you a chance to weigh in. So you're on.
Hi. Just two things came to mind. One was your analogy with the walking. I'm afraid to say, on my studies in terms of nutrition and exercise, is that the walking process itself is so efficient in the human body, we hardly use any calories at all. To actually use up calories, you need to be out of breath and having at least a brisk walk for it to actually make any difference to the body. Although, I mean, walking itself is good for the body of itself, but the efficiency means that you're not going to lose a lot of calories unless you're going for it. But anyway, getting past that one, I just wanted to say that actually I've had that kismet a few times, and when I really got it was when I was singing some years ago, and I wanted to do a jazz. I purposely wanted to do a jazz course, and I'd been thinking about it for quite a while. And one weekend I went to a party, or one Friday night I went to a party, and I got chatting to this girl. So I'm not sure how long I'd been thinking about this, but I think, I don't know, a good 6 months to a year. And I couldn't find a course anywhere. And then lo and behold, on that Friday, I was out at a house party, and I got chatting to this girl, and she told me about this course that was starting the next day. So sure enough, I was there the next day doing that course. And then from that course, that was a 2-year jazz course, jazz singers course. And from that course, I used to do the summer workshops and things. And from those summer workshops, I then met the director of a quite prestigious London jazz course, and he asked me whether I was going to come and join his course. So of course I did. So yes, when it comes, it's beautiful. When the stars align, it is a glorious thing. Anyway, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. I mean, I run and I walk, so I want to believe that the amount of walking that I'm doing is definitely doing something, because
the walking will actually help. It will help your body in terms of, it's good for the body to do exercise of any sort.
Yeah.
But in terms of calorific value, it's not until you get yourself into an out of breath state that actually you start to push beyond beyond a more efficient state, so to speak, where you start to burn more calories, so less efficiently, so to speak. So because the human body, so unless you've got a lot of weight you're carrying, and then that will mean that you will have to expend more weight and more energy to do that. But in reality,
I'm about to say that I think weight and distance might have a factor.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm not disputing that. Distance has a big part to play in it.
Brilliant.
But it takes a way before you get there, though. So, but a brisk walk on the other hand, will get you there much faster. Also, actually, there's some interesting stuff. Did you watch Michael Mosley last week on the best way to get fit the quickest and the most efficient?
Yeah.
It was really interesting. He basically said those two things. One using HIIT, high intensity
interval training. Yeah.
Exactly. And the other one was basically, you don't need to do the 10,000 steps. When it comes to, for example, if you're doing weights, then it's basically going to, you can't do any more on whatever weight, and it doesn't matter what weight. Heavier is quicker, lighter is longer. So whatever and then on the other things like running and so on, it's about doing it until doing it at your highest rate, literally running as fast as you can for about I think it's, depending on which one you're doing, it's either 2 minutes or 30 seconds. If it's the really high one, doing 30 seconds about twice, or running it as fast as you can, and then doing that 2 or 3 days. It's about 3 days a week. Literally, that gives you amazing amount of efficiency for the amount of work you're doing. So it's quite interesting. It's worth having a look at. It's on the net actually. Michael Mosley and Getting Fit. Anyway, yeah, cool.
Thank you so much.
Well done, Ivié.
That was brilliant. Thank you everyone that's still on here, and everybody who's had to dash. I also have a meeting after this, so I am going to dash, but thank you everyone for being on the session today. It's Corporate Couriers at 10 p.m. UK time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern. And then we got Wayne, Metaphors for Success, at 2 a.m. UK, 9 p.m. Eastern. So see you all later, maybe, or tomorrow for sure on the general session. Thanks all. Bye.